So, starting March 2026, Discord is implementing a global mandatory age verification plan. All right, to protect the kids. Okay, they're going to default your account to teen appropriate experience if you don't verify your age by scanning your face or giving them your ID. And, by the way, scanning your face is the same thing as giving them your ID. So, as long as I can just join my friends, I don't really care that much, but I am not giving Discord my ID. This is a company who literally had a data breach like a few months ago, bro. Yeah, September. Major Discord data breach occurred via compromised third-party customer support agent, exposing personal data of approximately 5.5 million users and 70,000 users' government IDs and selfies. So yeah, no thanks. I'm not going to give you my fucking ID if you're just getting data breached every month. I don't want to do that. I do not want to have my ID floating around on the dark web somewhere, bro. It just does not sound like it's protecting me. Okay, I get that you're trying to protect the kids or whatever, but where's my protection? Am I getting protected in any of this? No, I'm not, bro. If anything, this harms me to a great extent, I would argue, because then my information is just going to be floating around out there somewhere to who knows what they're going to do with it, bro. The fact is, you got breached, and then you get your data breached, leaking 70,000 IDs, and now you're going to ask for everybody to give them your ID. So yeah, no, this whole thing is just a load of shit, bro. I'm just going to put up with a restricted account. I'm just going to have the teen appropriate experience, I guess, according to Discord, because I'm not giving them my ID, especially if they just had a data breach, bro, a major data breach in September of 2025. Now, I guess the chances of them having another data breach are pretty slim, I would argue, but at the same time, that is not a risk I'm willing to take, bro. I do not want to take that risk. It's irresponsible to take that risk. You have to protect yourself, okay? Because this whole internet world, let's just be real, most people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with all these data breaches and all this stuff. And, your social security number is probably out there somewhere, bro, because there was a leak where billions got leaked. I think in 2025, maybe it was end of 2024, but it is ridiculous, bro. And then they want to come back and ask you for your ID to protect the kids. And my question is, why is it the company's job to protect the kids? Why is it these government jobs to protect the kid? It's not, bro. It is the parents' jobs. If you really want to protect the kids, you have to tell the parents. You need the CEOs to come out. You need government officials to come out and beg parents and say, hey, please, check what your kid is doing on the internet. Watch what they're doing. Make sure they're not getting into, weird spaces, and don't let the internet raise your kid, because any kid with a brain is going to find a way around it. For one, if they're going to scan your face, you can literally find a random ass face, scan it, and it might work. So there's that. But, the chances that doesn't work, which I'm assuming is going to be probably pretty high, because if you were going to try and protect kids, you wouldn't make it 15 might pass as an 18-year-old. You're going to make it where a 25-year-old might not even pass as an 18-year-old to actually protect kids. And also, any other kid with a brain is just going to ask their parents for their ID. But, I guess you can expect to be getting restricted from some servers or not using some features if you don't want to hand over your ID, because that's what we have to do today. We have to fork our ID over to all these companies and all these things we use on a day-to-day basis if you just want to use it like a fucking normal person. I'm sorry, bro, but it's not the government's job to raise your kid. If you're a parent, that is your responsibility to raise your kid, to monitor what they're doing online, not to hand it over to the government and let them raise your kid and let the internet raise your kid. No, bro, that's the parent's job. So you don't need to put this roadblock in the way for all these people just using the app normally. Now we're going to have to give over our IDs, bro, for what, bro? For nothing, really. It's just to track you, basically, to make sure, okay, now we can see who is going where, and it's just all this extra surveillance that we don't fucking need. I don't even know anymore, because I think YouTube, you need to show your ID, I guess, to be verified now. You have to show your ID to all these sites, to Roblox if you want to talk. Bro, we're just giving our IDs out too much because there is sensitive information on there. And not even that, forget the data breaches. This is just them literally keeping tabs on you at all times. And if you're on some sort of Discord server that may be questionable or whatever, and then your ID's linked to it, and then Discord's cooperating with, I don't know, Palantir or something. It's bro, whenever you try to get a job and they do a background check, it's they're going to see the Discord servers you're activating or accessing or whatever. And it's bro, no thanks. Okay, I don't want to fork over my ID for nothing. Now, maybe if you gave me something in return, like some free nitro or some shit, maybe like then we can talk. But, you know, until then, I can honestly just expect me. I'm going to be fucking, I guess, just rolling with a restricted account. And a lot of people are mad about this, bro. A lot of people are saying, like, you know, I'm not going to buy nitro. We're going to make them lose money. We're not going to just sit here and let them bully us like this, because the American people is about freedom and sovereignty, bro. And now I get this as a digital or a global rollout, but you know, for like Americans especially don't want to do this. I don't really think anyone around the world would want to do this. Just look at the UK backlash, okay? Whenever they started asking them for their IDs and people were getting arrested for Facebook posts, and like UK is cooked, bro. The UK is getting cooked, and there's so much talk and backlash, but you know, I don't know if anything's really getting done. But we don't want to go down that route, okay? Where every single like update they do to their app or whatever is just okay, more surveillance, more IDs are needed, even though we're having data breaches. We just need all your information just so you can access our app like a normal human being. And it's like, bro, no thanks. It's just fucking ridiculous, bro. So yeah, dude, you can honestly expect a lot of people to be finding alternatives, because the American people are not with this, bro. And I would honestly just say the people of the world, why can I not just access the internet like a normal fucking human being, like we always have? Now, I'm surprised, honestly, it's taken the government this long to try and take over, or I guess encroach as much as they are now on into the internet. You know, there have been ways like to put your ID online before, you know, especially YouTube. You have to get verified and shit. There's all that. Or you can do it the hard way and go like 2 months and maybe you'll get verified or not if you just upload consistently. All this, like, you know, just random ass fucking roadblocks, but it really just harms the average user. It just puts an annoyance in the way of the average user. It's just really annoying all around, really annoying, and nobody really wants to put up with it, bro. And like I said, they always use the excuse to protect the kids, but it's like, bro, these people are the same people like eating kids on the island, bro. No, I'm just kidding. You know, but like seriously, there are probably so many better ways you can protect kids, because is the kid being harmed by accessing some like furry Five Nights at Freddy's Gooner server? Not really, bro. That's the parents' job to crack down on that shit, okay? It's not really the government's job to come in here and tell you what you can and can't goon to. The whole thing is just fucked up, bro. And, you know, if you want to be one of those people to say, I don't care, you know, it's just your ID, whatever, you know, go ahead. You know, suit yourself, okay? They've already leaked 70,000 IDs. If you want to be added on to that list, that's fine, bro. You can knock yourself out. You can use all this shit if you want. But me, like, if Discord is fucked up and I can't even like be in a normal I don't know what the average teen appropriate experience is supposed to be. So depending on what they restrict from me, I might fucking switch, bro, because there are alternatives. And you know, this is like cutting the head off the snake almost for some people, because they're not going to use Discord after this. They're a lot of people are really mad, okay? And basically when this happens, you know, you cut off the head of one snake, 2 more heads come back. You know, there's going to be 2 more apps that are trying to replicate Discord exactly, but you don't have to give your fucking ID to use it like a normal person. So, you know, just be on the lookout for stuff like this, because it is not in your best interest to give your ID, your government distributed ID to you. It's not good, bro. And especially for Discord, it's not a good look for them either, because like I said, a lot of people are giving them a lot of backlash, rightfully so, in my opinion. And it's just like, I don't understand, bro, the whole protecting kids argument, because like I said, what are you really protecting kids from? Joining a weird server and talking to some creep? That is literally up to the parent. Like if you as a parent cannot, you know, verify whether your kid is talking to some like 50-year-old weirdo fucking across the state, that's kind of on you, bro. The fact that you're not even in your kid's life that much, like, bro, that's up to you. It is not up to the government to come in here and like encroach on your fucking rights as a person, bro. And you know, saying this now might sound a little crazy, but I actually do think we're moving into like a full-fledged surveillance state, you know, with all the cameras already and shit. Like, you're out there, bro. All your intel, it's out there. It's just floating around in different patches, I guess. Palantir's job is to put all those patches together, and then they work with the government to basically, you know, give them a full background of who you are, where you go, access all this shit. But, you know, full surveillance, they want to see what you're spending your money on, so they're taking away pennies. Nobody asked me, okay, if I wanted pennies to be taken away, because as minute as it seems, like, oh, it's just pennies, but that's like the first step, bro. I would have said no. I would have been like, no, I don't want you to take away pennies. I kind of like looking at little pennies on the ground when I pass them, and I don't even pick them up, but it's like, you know, you don't need to stop making them and then take them out of circulation as time goes on, because that's what they're doing. And, you know, that's, like I said, that's how it steps. How long until they take away the nickel and then the dime and then the quarter, and then it's like, okay, $1 bills are no longer going to be made, and people are like, $1 bills, like, what the fuck? And then, you know, they just want to push you to use the fake money, you know, since 95% of global money is all digital anyway, they want to push you to use that as much as possible, especially, crypto and all this stuff, because it can all be tracked, bro. It can all be tracked when it's online. Hard cash is hard to track. It's really hard to trace that back to, drug money and all this shit. And I'm not saying like, fucking vote for the drug lords that are running the streets or whatever. I'm just saying like, don't you want a little bit of privacy? Do you want the government knowing that you're going to buy liquor at like 3 a.m.? Like, not really, bro. That's just some shit you should like keep to yourself. Okay, because I feel like people are getting too comfortable with the fact that the government is like ruling over your life and they dictate everything you do. And it's like, bro, as a human, I think you should be free from what any person fucking says, because the government's just made up of people. It's not some like perfect entity that's doing everything right. It's just like I said, it's made up of people. And my belief is, bro, you can't really live your lives on terms of what other people say. It just doesn't really make sense. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I've been stuttering through this whole video, and we're gonna wrap it up here. So